About a month ago, Team Corally first announced the Kagama. They didn't give us any information as to what it was going to be, but since then, they've given us quite a bit of information, and I think even though they haven't officially announced it, at this point, we can pretty much figure out what this is going to be. If you're not familiar with Team Corally, they've actually been making RC cars for a very long time, but they only fairly recently got into making bashers. They started out making a line of vehicles that looked fairly similar to the Arrma vehicles, and were pretty good, had a lot of power, and handled really well, but had a few weak points. That being said, they've been listening to the customers and they've been addressing those weak points pretty rapidly. The first vehicle that they came out with that I think is a real contender is the Kronos XTR. This thing's got a lot of really awesome updated parts, addresses a lot of the weak points of the original vehicles, and was one of the most durable vehicles I've ever owned. More recently, they upped their game with the Asuga. This thing is a buggy, but it is bigger than a standard 1/8 scale buggy, and it is an absolute beast. They've got a center brace system in this thing that ties everything together, has really strong aluminum on it, and other than a few weak points that are pretty easy to address, is an extremely durable, fast, great handling, and fun car. Their latest announcement, the Kagama, looks like it's going to be basically on the Asuga platform, but based on the videos that they've released, as you can see here, this looks like it's going to be a Truggy. This makes sense because a Truggy will be a very popular vehicle, and I think a lot of people will be interested in it. Other than this video, they've released a couple of different images. They show a new center brace system, which I think is really interesting because they came out with a new center brace system on the Asuga. My guess is that the center brace system on the Asuga was working around the limitations of that buggy body, and this car is not going to have those limitations being a Truggy, so they're able to have a larger center brace, which is why we see yet another new design. The arms look similar in design to the Asuga. They've got nice reinforcement rings around the hinge pins and are overall very strong arms. Looking at some websites that show parts for the Kagama, we can also get some more information about the design. We see here a long wheelbase 7075 chassis, so this is going to be a long wheelbase car. Whether or not it's going to be 7075 from the factory, I'm not sure. The picture they have of the chassis doesn't necessarily look like 7075 and it doesn't say 7075, but the part that we see on this website is a 7075 chassis. And if you look at the layout of the chassis, it appears as though it's basically going to be the same as the Asuga. All the holes are in the same places, so I'm assuming that the layout's going to be identical. I don't expect to see any new differentials or anything like that with this version because they didn't come out with any new differentials or anything like that in the Asuga. And in general, I expect this to look very similar under the hood as the Asuga, other than that different center brace system, different size shock towers, different body mounts for the body, etc. I'm really excited to see what these wheels and tires are going to look like. Hopefully they're going to be nice, big, beefy, and durable. Team Corally's tires so far have always proven to be very good, really thick rubber, very durable, so I'm excited to see what these look like. We've got some detailed pictures of the body here. This looks like it's going to be pretty nice. Obviously, this looks like a Truggy. You see a wing, you see a larger body style. We get 3 different colorways on it, but we only get to see little bits and pieces. So we're going to have to wait for the full release to see what the body actually looks like. So that's it, guys. I think this thing's going to be really exciting. If this thing's as durable as the Asuga is, I think they're going to have a real winner on their hands. I cannot wait for this thing to come out. It's supposed to come out sometime in September. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And while you're at it, take a look at this video.